Yo, how's it going, man?
How you doing, man? Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Cool.
I gotta put my headphones in.
No, you're good. You want to see me?
I don't. You don't have a camera on, no. Well, I hear you.
I'm turning it on right now. Here's my face.
No way!
Hello.
Oh, what's up, bro?
How you doing, bro?
Dude, I'm
I know
so
what
good,
side
dude.
it is. I never figured that out. I always show up like different directions, but how you doing, bro?
I'm doing amazing, bro. I'm doing even better with you on here. How's your move going, dude?
It's not too bad. Just boxing a bunch of stuff up. It's I've been going at it all day. I'll be up, done with it soon. Just having a beer, having a cigar, maybe some smoke later.
Relax. Yep, chilling, relaxing, dude. I gotta get to it soon.
Yeah, like I've been so busy since the last time I think we were like talking on the show. So my last channel got ended up getting fried. It got fried because I put on a video about a poo. It was actually against Nazism, but YouTube took it as like an offense, and I had so many strikes back then, and they shut me down.
Hmm.
So I had to start all over again, but this time it's kind of in a different direction. Like I'm not cool with Anarchy Princess or Baldy Banks anymore. They pissed me off. I've talked with like Brian Beckner. Remember him? Him and I talked
No.
on Twitter. Yeah. If
Well, I want to get to Massad's question. Do you know anything about Pam and customer service? That was like a Baldy Banks associate, wasn't it?
all I know is that like the reason I don't like him anymore is because Sam Singe and I used to talk on Twitter a lot, and like she'd post videos about like making edibles and stuff, and I thought it was pretty cool. But all of a sudden, like they both just vanished off of YouTube for what I know. And I was kind of like, what the fuck was happening? So I talked to this guy named Spinacre. Sorry for burning you, but we aren't cool anymore. And
I
he
remember
told
you
me,
mentioning that. Yeah.
yeah, they were going through problems or something like that. But long story short, Anarchy's in the picture over at Baldy Banks's apartment in Philadelphia. Next thing I know, Sam is gone, never heard from again. I just kind of like turned my back on Damnation Driving and on Anarchy. Not just because of that, but with the Brian Beckner incident where he was at a gallery. And I'm not trying to help neo Nazis. I'm just saying that I know what it's like for people to try to set you up. I think it's wrong, but he was at like a gallery, and Brienne Chapman showed up with by Tifa and fucking. They tried to set Brian up and shit, and they harassed him and followed him, and so I basically Amanda, this girl Amanda, who's a leftist journalist, was talking shit about Brian all the time, always belittling him and setting him up too. So I went into their chat and started talking, and that's how we started talking. I gave him advice on how to beat his protective order violation. Not because he's a neo-Nazi, it's just because I know he has problems upstairs like I do, and I thought that it might be the right thing to do to just like look out for this dude because like everything's so fucked up now. I'm actually happy Trump won, if you believe it or not.
It was the only real dude, Kamala Harris, dude. It's Biden was already a stretch of the imagination, but Kamala Harris.
Yeah, in New York, there are people like protesting Biden and Kamala because they were like, with all the shit that was going on. Like, I don't know if you know about the chairman Antifa or not, but I don't like her either anymore because like she turned out to be pretty much a fake. And like there's a guy Boss Money fucking 84, it was all on Twitter. And like when all the genocide started happening in Palestine, like people were protesting, I was protesting, and stuff, and I was about to go up to Kansas City and Lawrence and protest there. And fucking like these guys were all in the panel with the chairman and Tiba talking about like J Sixers, Glory B, and Josh Fulfer and all this shit, and Brian Beckner, but they didn't give a fuck about what was going on with the genocide going on in Palestine. And like I called them out on it, and I got a message from Boss Money saying basically like, dude, if you want to talk about that shit, you can talk about that shit, but pretty much shut the fuck up because we're gonna run our panel the way we want. And I took high offense to that. And I'm a leftist, yes, but I've changed my views now, and I'm kind of like a middle ground guy called Neo Antifa now, and I've been pushing it in New York. I did go to New York and push this. Hung out with Mando from Kick. He's cool with me. He's iconic. He's a good guy from New York. One Sonic, he was cool, but he turned on me because he was like thinking I was trying to like become a big streamer off him. But I've been collaborating.
Well, one Sonic's got a lot of issues. He's got bad. He doesn't have the best decision making. And I've seen a lot from him. I don't even remember. Was he hanging out with Mr. Based?
Yeah, he hangs out with Jason Itzler, aka Mr. Bass.
Right.
Josh Block. You know, a lot of the stuff. It was funny because like that's actually how I got into it. Like after my channel got shut down, I came back and I was watching New York City stuff because there's Trump stuff going on, and fucking I clicked on this guy named Aberson's channel, and he's cool with me now. Like he's one of his Psychotics friends. We've been talking for a minute, but he started a channel up, and like I just clicked on it. I didn't know who he was, but he was at Trump Tower walking around and shit. And all of a sudden I saw Josh Fulfer, aka KKK Cookie, is what Baldy Banks put him as because he sent me stickers. And fucking, I was like, what the fuck is going on? And so I started talking to Aber and shit. I told him it was Antifa, and this is way back, like at least a year ago at least. And fucking, we hit it off, and you know, he was pretty cool. And then that's how I kind of ran into like Mr. like Bass and One Sonic and all this crazy shit going on because I was just like fucking watching J6 jail and shit, and like the stuff going on with Antifa, and then other stuff going on with the chairman Antifa. And I started seeing all this crazy shit like fucking sexual assaults, justice for Kimberly. She's a Kick streamer who was assaulted by Mr. Bass. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like, it drew my attention away from politics, and it made me start thinking like, holy shit, live streaming is fucking crazy. You know, it's just soaking it like a sponge. But anyway, bro.
We are becoming the media. We are becoming the influence. They've lost that ability. That's why we have to take the responsibility and do it.
Yeah.
We have to put it to work. I mean, or we could just sit and be alone, but this is more fun. I mean, I like this, you know?
Yeah.
Have you ever shown your face on panel?
No, I did reveal.
I've never shown my hair on panel. Whoa, bro. Fist bump, dude. Let's go.
I miss it. It was like I always see you with your hat on and stuff. Yeah, but I mean, I was just wearing my hat. I'm not like balding or anything. I have OCD, so like no shit. Like I used to pull my hair out and shit, and there'd be patches and stuff. I'm just being honest about my mental health and fucking with all this crazy shit going on. It's just not crazy in New York. And when I went to New York, DC before I went to New York, it was fucking amazing. Like I got there and like we started smoking weed and fucking this is true. So I get to this dispensary and this Saudi Arabian guy shows up while I'm outside because I go inside, I buy my weed before he shows up. And I'm like, where can I smoke this? He's like, right outside by an umbrella. So I go outside and there's like little porch area there where you could smoke, right? So I start lighting my joint, but it's so windy, nothing's going right. I take a few hits and I'm like, oh shit, I'm high. And this fucking guy walks by me, goes into the shop, comes out, buys the same fucking joint I do, and lights it up. He's like, I'm from Saudi Arabia. I'm like, what? I'm like, no, that's cool. And we talk a little bit, and then like I ask him for his look, like, how do I get a hold of you? Because I give him my YouTube channel, the new one, at Starfox Pictures on YouTube. And this guy like tells me I'm from Saudi Arabia, so I can't give you my number, but I can give you a grid coordinates. If you look it up, you can find me. So he punched this thing in my phone. I like fucking am like, what the fuck is going on? We break ways. I get in a Uber and I head towards the White House. I get to the White House and I start walking up towards like this front gate and shit. And like I'm chilling there, like live streaming, and fucking a cop or maybe a Secret Service agent comes out. He's like, get out of the roadway. And I'm like, oh shit, get out of the roadway. And then fucking I start sightseeing and run into Secret Service again. And I'm like, I better tell them about this guy. And it was crazy because like I met a 3-star general who was the Army Corps of Engineers general, like he's pretty much in charge of it, and another major. I fucking I went to the World War II memorial. I mean, it was so surreal to just get out and like start living life because you know I've been living in isolation, like I told One Sonic, since 2019. You know, since I moved into my place that I'm about to get out of, and Like what really pushed me to get out and start streaming and meeting people was just getting over the fear of being out there and actually doing it, you know. And I forgot all about Antifa. I forgot all about Right Side, and I was just out there like making connections with anybody I could because it just felt so right to do that, you know, living life and enjoying it.
Right, I know, dude. We've been so held back as people. That's what this whole stream's been about. Destroyer's asking down there in the comments. Boss Money, is that the same AP simp? When you first said that, I thought the same thing.
Yeah,
He's
Boss
like,
Money. Yeah, I'm not a fan of AP, Boss Money, Baldy Banks, China Antifa. Fuck them all, man. They're a bunch of fakes. They're I would say Anarchy Princess at her best, along with not Boss Money, her simp, but Baldy Banks. They just run around and they're basically being fucking cringe streamers at this point, you know. Like I believed in Antifa for a reason. I thought that it was going places, and then I see people that claim Antifa, and it's like it's nothing but Trollville, and I don't like that shit. So when they go out and live stream in Philadelphia and crap, it's kind of like, oh, they're just doing whatever they can to draw much attention as they can to like what they're doing. It's stupid, you know. I wouldn't be surprised if she got her ass beaten, Baldy Banks, someday running into the wrong people on the right side. But that's just my opinion. Not saying I want it to happen.
bro, all right. So then you don't. Oh man, I want to play this O'Shea bit from earlier, but I don't want to go back. I don't know. I'm tempted.
No, you're good.
Man, so when did you go to New York and so you went to Washington D.C. first, but then this was all last year, I take it.
No, this is about a month ago, maybe.
Bro, oh man, next time you're next time you're in New York City or something, dude, hit me up. I'll come down there and see you or something. We'll figure
For
something
real?
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, like, long story short, I was looking for Jason Isler when I went to New York, and all right, so before that,
oh Lord, oh God.
so I go to DC without a fucking plan. I'm like, and going to DC, like, I really didn't plan on going to DC, but DC was like, it's so close to New York. I didn't know if I was making it to New York. I really didn't know what the fuck I was thinking. I was on White Castle. Had insomnia. But anyway, like on my YouTube channel at Starfox Pictures, there's this video where it's like a fox is shown the way by like a Trump supporter. So I was in Bridgeport, something, and it was like all hilly and curvy and shit. And like I'm rolling in my Camaro, and I roll up to this Trump supporter. And I didn't know he's a Trump supporter. He's just some white guy, I think, in a green truck. And he rolls up and he stops right next to me while we're both driving down the road. And I stop and we start talking. And he cracks in jokes about wanting to race me. But that guy got me out of Bridgeport because the way out, the GPS wasn't telling me. And it was so confusing. And fucking this guy literally led me straight out of Bridgeport and told me how to get to TC. And that was pretty cool because he was like a Trump supporter and shit. So fucking I ended up getting to DC, and it gets even crazier because I don't know where I'm going. I'm like following the GPS, and I'm like, it's going to the Capitol, so let's go to the Capitol. I get to the Capitol area. It's nothing but winding narrow roads and fucking crazy shit. And I'm getting a hotel at this place. It was like $360 a night, and I was like, whatever, you know, it's a vacation. But I met some Russians there. I met an awesome ass girl named Vegas there. She's pretty fucking awesome. We met in the bar attached to the hotel and fucking went back and fucked each other for like 2 nights. And I haven't had a girlfriend in 8 years. It was amazing, but fucking things got interesting when I went to New York because I went to New York and I was looking for Jason Isler, aka Mr. Bass, because I wanted to talk to him, like confront him about the death of Julia Summit, who Alex Novell, if you know about him, he's a citizen journalist. Just look up what he did on his documentary against Mr. Bass.
It was Alex Novell.
Yes, sir. He basically got Jason Isler on tape admitting to buying GHB, and Miami PD didn't have that. So when he admitted it, the major crime unit got involved, and detectives started calling him and getting the information and stuff. He's posted on Reddit and everything. But if you haven't seen his documentary on Mr. Bass, it's pretty solid, you know. And they even held
how do I spell the last name? Alex what?
Novel, I think, maybe 2 of them. But just Mr. Bass, Alex Novell. But yeah, it's a documentary. exposing Mr. Bass and Jason Itzler for what he did to Julia Summit, giving her a GHB and killing her essentially, admitting to it. And that's the last piece the police needed to take him down. And this guy is horrible. One Sonic says sim to him. A lot of live streamers hung out with him, but the biggest thing that's scary is he makes a lot of money, so he's drawing in women like Alana and Letty. They're both kick streamers, and they get around him, and it doesn't take long to be around him to see that once he starts getting drunk, he starts talking about oh, well, you kiss this person. It's almost like disgusting, molesting talk,
Dude, dude. I called him out a few weeks ago, about a month ago now. It says part 1, the story of Jason Itzler, a documentary. Wait, it was so you were in, dude. Basically, around the time I called him out, you were there in New York trying to find him.
Yeah, I was trying to find him. Yeah. I got to New York. I got to New York, and I went straight to 2nd Avenue in St. Mark's Place, and it was the wrong address. He was actually at 8th Avenue, and I'm not going to say the other, but I don't want to dox him, but I had the wrong address. So after I didn't find his address, I drove around. I was like, where can I go? And I was like, Washington Square Park. And so I went to Washington Square Park. I got there and called up Washington Square Hotel and asked for a room. It was actually not that bad. It was like $250, which was way cheaper than DC. And freaking ended up staying there. But they didn't have a parking garage, so I had to find a place to get my car. So there's a place a couple blocks away called GMC. And so I take my car there, and for $50 a day, they store the car. And I took my couple bags to Washington Square Park and fucking hung out in my hotel room. It's pretty chill in New York City. They asked me when I got there if I wanted a really nice room with a good view. And I was like, no, I'm a live streamer now. I'm not going to be in the hotel room. And I really wasn't that much, but I did. So
you did all this. All this was on the channel that I shared earlier. This is all on your channel?
Yeah, there's actually 2 channels I have.
Missed all this.
No, you're good. There's a lot of stuff going on that channel, but I do have a 2nd channel that I'll give it to you personally that has more of this stuff. And the reason I had to separate my channels was because somebody's aware of my channel who's not friendly to me, who could I'll just leave it that way. So I had to create a 2nd channel in order to
well, I want to get the heat off of you and me for the moment right here. I want, because this is, I believe, so this is fascinating. Do you know anything about this BXTT Spider guy?
No, I don't. There's so many people now reported on Jason Itzler, aka Mr. Bass, that I can't keep track of them all, but
because this was just 5 hours ago, they covered this documentary you were referring to.
Yeah.
A documentary by Alex Novell featuring Von Beardo. Do you know that one?
No, I don't. Like I said, I'm not really good with names at this point, but I'm collaborating with a lot of people, and it's good to see more and more people posting stuff about this, because this guy sexually assaults people. He takes advantage of Josh Block, who's disabled. He's really autistic. When I met One Sonic,
yeah, dude, it was so fucked up. I called that shit, dude. He's clear, dude. It was coming from his background about bragging about being with Epstein and having the #1 prostitution, whatever he called it, escort industry in New York.
Yeah, he's done his time, but he continues to do his crimes. And what I think puts a nail in the coffin for him with Julia Summit's death was not only admitting to it, but they fucked up the investigation. Miami PD went in there and they didn't look at the water bottles. They skipped so much evidence. So by the time the floor was swept, they didn't really have anything, their hands were tied. But with his confession of saying, I bought the GHB and Zoltan provided the money, and then it was, I had to connect, and I bought, he's changed the story so many times, but Alex Novell had his it's not a premiere, but it was a screening of his documentary in New York at the Star Bar Lounge in Manhattan. And One Sonic and Mando was paid $300. And Mando and I are cool, but Mando was paid $300 by Mr. Bass, aka Jason Itzler, One Sonic was paid $100, and their job was to go down there, and Zycotic went with them, and like their job was to go down there and troll the documentary screening basically. And like there's a video I put up where Mr. Bay supporters get destroyed basically. And like One Sonic attempts to troll, but Alex shuts him down and starts bringing up the investigation going on. Mando asked some questions, but Mando ended up turning on Mr. Bass when it was right before Elena came in at another bar in New York City. He was hanging out with One Sonic, and they went to go meet Mr. Bass, and Mando had enough of his bullshit and being creepy and talking shit about women. And he basically denounced Mr. Bass and told Joshua that he was being taken advantage of and that nobody's on that. He became a hero because of that to me. Like, fucking, that's why I like him. And like when I first met Mando, I didn't know who he was when I got to Washington Square Park when I was there in New York City, but that's on my channel too. And fucking, we got along, but I kind of like challenged him a little bit, but it's kind of cool, like where you make people who are good friends, like who stand up to the same people you stand up to, even though when you first meet, you always don't hit it off. Because Sonic and I hit it off, and now the guy hates me because he got drunk and all he cares about is donations and shit and fucking Mold Mansion, which is where he lives in like Jamaica, Queens, and there's so much going on, but I enjoy it.
Bro, I cannot believe how much content you've been uploading. I just was going through it. I had no, because you didn't make much content before. Now, dude, you are on a roll.
Yeah, thank you. I just honestly, my objective now coming up back to New York City, if they don't get Jason before like I get there, I am gonna go to his address and we're gonna have a talk about the Death of Julie Summit. But like, I don't know if I'm actually gonna stream that because he streams all the time. I just want to have a few words, and if he flips out and says that I'm trolling him, just remember that Jason Insler, aka Mr. Bass, he did it to Josh. That's how he got Josh when he first met World of T-Shirts in New York City. He trolled him, he followed him, he screamed at him, and then they had a conversation and shit. And then Josh is like right there against his grandpa's best wills, hanging out in his face. It's crazy.
I want to play this clip here. Lefty destroys Mr. Bass.
Okay, I would do $400 a day every day, but counting today.
Today was a clout day for you. You absorbed incredible clout off of Josh.
Actually, you also observed clout.
Do you have clout?
I have Aura.
What's your biggest platform? How many followers you got?
Don't ask me that because you're going to say it's nothing.
It might be big.
I have clout in the kingdom of God, okay?
You're an amazing,
my
super
soul
entertaining
is
person.
clouded.
But what's your biggest platform? I'm just curious.
Earth.
What's your TikTok? How many you got?
I don't have TikTok.
Josh has 4 million.
Do you want to make TikToks together?
Maybe, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't use TikTok.
You know, like hundreds of thousands of people want to get close to Josh and no one's allowed to. That's what you got today. You're Josh's friend now. You're his girlfriend.
Yay.
You don't get paid to be Josh's girlfriend. Today was free.
No, I'm not.
We just met today.
To be his girlfriend.
This dude is so disgusting.
No, if I pay you for today, I feel like
dude.
I'm paying you to be his girlfriend. Like,
No, that's not it.
I'm paying
It's
for-
to be on
That would be
stream.
my opinion. Always trying to like exploit women and stuff, and it's bullshit,
Yeah, and he's doing it under the guise of clout. It's so fucking degrading to humanity, dude. Yeah,
Yes.
exactly. Well, that's what. Yeah, Swirly's like when he was asking about this. That's what he was getting at, basically. But like, he's trying to like promote, like, oh, I can get you noticed. I can get you. He's such a fucking groomer, dude. It's sick, like, in the worst way possible.
Yeah.
Obviously.
No, I agree. It's like the Sonic, like my opinion, like when I met Sonic, he's pretty cool, but like I said, the day he turned on me, like he was really drunk and he was mad because he didn't get the donations he wanted after hanging out with Mr. Bass, and friggin' he's just started attacking everybody, his mods, his chat. So I went in there to try to encourage him to like, hey, dude, you're cool. Chill out, man. Don't worry about it. And he basically told me, he's like, yo, I don't ever want to hang out with you. if you want to like ever make it big on your own and then talk to me. I'm just like, what the fuck? Why would I talk to you if I made it big? I wasn't talking to you. Like when I was in New York City at Washington Square, like when I met Sonic on my channel, like fucking these guys came up and they were asking like for hand sanitizer or something. And I gave it to them and they were like, donate to this guy. And I was like, no, don't donate to me. And they're like, why? And I was like, I was just doing it for fun. I'm doing it for fun. I'm not doing it for money. Like, I'm not saying I don't need money. I'm just saying that like this live streaming stuff, it's an interest of me just to like investigate, but also like make friends and see the world and explore. It's an embarking on an adventure to me. And like, you know, they were like looking at me like I was crazy, like, oh wow, oh, you know, like we never seen a guy like just do it for fun.
How dare you be authentic and not seek to use and abuse everyone that you meet, dude? How dare you do that?
And that's exactly what I mean about Sonic. Like he told me he didn't stream in California. He told me that he tells us everybody in chat that he has autism. And then I meet him and ask him, and he's like, well, I've never been tested for it. And I'm just like, what the fuck is really going on? And, you know, it's just, I was nothing but good to one Sonic. But for him to turn on me and basically like, when you make it big, talk to me, it said everything to me because it's like making sense that this dude is only about clout and money or vice versa. If he doesn't get that, he doesn't really have anything to offer to like live streaming or IRL or IP2 community, you know. And if you look at Kick as a whole, like I used to follow like Fauci and stuff in Ice Poseidon, Hunger Games. I applied for it, and Dro liked my video, who's one of Ice Poseidon's friends, and right now they're doing like a rat race thing. But like I've been watching Natalie Reynolds, and I'm like, this live streaming thing could be like a business opportunity for people, but also it doesn't have to just be a business. It's like, this is for the first time I've actually seen in my life where I like think that YouTube, Kick, and all these platforms where you stream could be like your own Hollywood, and you can make a story, you can make a narrative, you can investigate, you can do all kinds of stuff. And like, I watch it more than I watch the news now, because the news is always so depressing. But like, I like the potential in live streaming in every place that it could possibly go, including citizen journalism.
I want to show you a clip of Brian O'Shea earlier because he's in the thumbnail here. This guy was out. So Illumitami delivered one perspective to me, and this might be like he already went way again. He's like or Brian O'Shea is a douchebag. I love Brian O'Shea. I look up to. I don't know, me and him vibe, but you might disagree with what he's doing here, and I'm okay with that.